Alright my friends, welcome back to Frog Boy X1 Gaming and Tech Reviews. I'm Andrew, and I wanted to do a 9-month review on the XFX Mercury Magnetic Air OC 9070 XT from AMD. So guys, it's been 9 months since this bad boy launched. I got it the day after launch. I was lucky enough to have XFX actually reach out to me and send out a review unit for this. And I'll tell you what, guys, I've tested the, I've also tested the Aorus. I think it's the Aorus. Yeah, the Aorus Elite from AMD as well. And I got to tell you guys, this is the card that I wanted to buy straight out of the gate. I looked at it, the aesthetic was very pleasing. I love the freaking beautiful light bar on the bottom of this thing. I think it just looks absolutely incredible. The fact that it's got its very own plug for it that you can plug right into your motherboard and have your motherboard kind of sync the colors with everything else. Like, I thought that was super cool. The magnetic fans that go into it, very, very cool, very forward thinking. I've pulled this out a few times out of my case, and you know, over time, you know, as I've like tested other cards and pulled that out, I just always get this sense of like the quality of this GPU. We're talking about like the build quality first, and then we'll move on to just like the overall experience that I've had with this GPU since I've gotten it. So the build quality on this GPU from XFX. Now, my first ever AMD GPU was actually the 7900 XT, just the Mercury 7900 XT that I bought last generation. I thought that was absolutely pretty cool, so I pretty much just stuck with XFX. And so when I looked at that older card, when I first got that, because obviously I'd bought like, you know, AIBs from NVIDIA, you know, like Gigabyte, or what else did I buy? I had like Gigabyte up from that point, and then, you know, actually I think I pretty much only had bought in Gigabyte GPUs from NVIDIA up until I got a Founders Edition card, and then I got that like MSI Ventus 3 4070 or whatever. And when I compared like the build quality of the XFX cards, they felt beefy, they felt robust, they had a nice freaking backplate that like, you know, it was like a heat sink and stuff, and it just felt great. Like there was nice hard plastic on the front of it, like they felt robust. And so when XFX reached out to me to see if I wanted to cover the 9070 XT, I had already had this card, like no joke, in my Amazon cart. Like I was getting ready to push the buy button, and the email came through, and he's like, all right, I can get it for you. I can send you, you know, this is the one you want. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And he's like, all right, man, I'll get it to you tomorrow. And I was like, whew, man, like such a weight of relief lifted off my shoulders at that time. And I was just excited. I was so excited that when I got it, I did this long, elaborate unboxing and everything, and, you know, just spent time looking at that card. And I just felt so happy about that and so good about that experience, because this is like the first GPU that any vendor had ever sent out to me. And it was AMD. Like, I love AMD. Like I legit think they're an incredible, they make incredible GPUs. And so when I get this thing, and I put it in there and use it, you know, and we're all going through like this, the cost of these GPUs are like way high, and you know, we're pretty much getting soaked for every nickel we can, because honestly, guys, I just feel like PC gaming is just another avenue for these companies to make money and stuff. And you know, I've followed the cost very, very carefully of this specific GPU, the XFX Mercury Magnetic Air, and I've seen it go as high as like $949 down to, like, at the time of this recording, like 759, and I kind of always felt like $759 was like a really decent fair price for this GPU. but I was willing to pay up to that $1,000. It was like $929 or something, because I'd paid like $939 for my 5070 Ti. And so I looked at the cost of that, and I just felt like I was like, yeah. Like I looked at the card that I had. I had the Asus, you know, from Asus, the Prime OC 5070 Ti. Beautiful card, absolutely well made. Love that GPU. I love the design philosophy of that, the aesthetics of the Prime OC, and so I was happy with that. But then when you look at that and you compare that card to what you get from the AMD 9070 XT from XFX, the Mercury magnetic air, you get the magnetic fans, you get the big beautiful light bar on the front of it that you can sync to the rest of your GPU. You get dual BIOS on that card. You get the freaking, this card boosts. It's got 3 8-pin. It like boosts all the way up to 300, what is it, like 3400 megahertz. So you got a 340 watt TDP or whatever, you know, like power. You got the 16 gigs of VRAM. I mean, this card just came out, and I'm looking at this side by side with the 5070 Ti, and I'm just like, gosh damn. It looks good, and it fits like so many different builds. You can get it in white, you can get it in black. I mean, the white one's usually a little bit more, because we all know how much more. I mean, white plastic is very rare these days, and so just finding like a white one or getting that white plastic, you know, it just adds to that cost. I don't know. I don't understand the rarity of white, but it is what it is. I have the black version of this card, and it is absolutely beautiful. When I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, I always think that, like, wow, the build quality and the way the aesthetic looks on this GPU is second to none. Like, probably my favorite looking GPU ever of all time. And so let's get into like performance and stuff, man. I've actually been on this GPU all day today, since I got home from work. And I want to say, first of all, you know, shout out to AMD, because the RDNA 4 architecture that the 9070 XT is built on is very good. The features like FSR4, you get frame generation now. We're gonna have you're gonna have Redstone coming out here in, oh, look at that, 7 more days. And the beautiful thing about AMD is they make good quality products. And I know that, like, I get it. NVIDIA is like #1, blah, 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 whatever. But AMD makes a good, comprehensive, solid product that you can stand behind. And they build these GPUs, I think, a lot more with gamers in mind. And, you know, a little while back, we had the whole scare, you know, that like AMD wasn't going to support 6000 series GPUs. So somebody actually sent me out an RTX 580, and I tested that card out. And I came to the conclusion that just didn't matter. That wasn't the case. AMD stands behind their products, and they make these incredible GPUs. So when it comes to performance, my testing, you know, even now that I've got an RTX 5090, in my testing against the 5070 Ti, the next closest GPU, like in that bracket that like trades blows with the 9070 XT, I feel like you could easily get an AMD GPU and probably never look back. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, and trust me, like, I have the full NVIDIA experience now, and I can honestly tell you, tell you straight faced, that I could legit live with the 9070 XT, no issues. It plays every game I need it to play. The FSR4 quality is so incredible. The performance easily meets or exceeds the 5070 Ti on almost every single game that I play. Like, I play a lot of open world games. I do a lot of sim racing and stuff like that. And the 9070 XT is literally always up to par. And so it's like, okay, like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, why would anybody pay extra for an NVIDIA GPU over this? And then when you get, and see, here's the biggest thing, is like the amount of quality you get with the XFX Mercury magnetic air versus a lot of other AIBs. I mean, like, you can get this same GPU for the cost of like a PNY 5070 Ti. And like you look at the quality difference, just the build quality alone, and you would understand, like right when you get this bad boy, this chunky boy in your hand and you're holding it and you're like, damn, like it is such a premium feeling experience that like once you plug it in and you start going through games and you start seeing like just how incredible AMD's color science is, like you put it in there. And like with NVIDIA, most of the time, like it doesn't even set it up automatically sometimes. Like it's hit or miss. Like you'll get in there, you got to turn on like 10-bit and all of this stuff. And AMD just literally works right out of the box. You jump into the Adrenaline software, you start going through everything. And it just feels, to me, this is me, man. Like I just feel like AMD really puts a lot more effort into that whole user experience so that it's good, so that it looks good. And I swear, man, everybody that I talk to, you know, coming from NVIDIA over to AMD, like all of them say the same thing. They're just like, wow, the colors really stand out to me. And yes, you know, I've done a lot to try to get like the colors to look pretty good, but AMD just has this way that like, if both of them are set to stock, and you don't do anything else, they're pretty dang close. They're pretty dang close. But the way that AMD gives you the ability to adjust your saturation, which is really important for things like HDR. For, you know, I hear a lot of people always talking about how HDR doesn't look good on PC, and I look at the AMD experience and I'm sitting there on HDR and I'm like, gosh, this just looks absolutely beautiful. Just having that color saturation. And say you're on like an IPS display, because IPS is like, I love OLED, but IPS is like my second, like, oh my gosh. And ever since I got this Asus ROG Strix freaking IPS dual mode 4K monitor, yeah, trust me, I'm going to be doing a video this weekend with the AMD on the ROG, because I want you guys to see that, like that color saturation. Oh gosh, it just looks so beautiful. And it punches up your colors so well that like once you get on there and you say, I'm not even joking, you go from 100 to 125 and then you put on your HDR content and you're looking at it, you're like, gosh damn, this looks incredible. The biggest thing for me for HDR is the wide color gamut. Now a lot of people like the brightness and the contrast ratio and all of that stuff. Me personally, as a color, like I like colorful stuff. I'm weird, man. I like saturated colors, not like oversaturated. Like with NVIDIA, you do the digital vibrance and it kind of like blows the colors out weird. With AMD, it just like makes them more bold and it just looks so good. And so another thing, performance wise, like I'm saying, you get in here and you know, AMD's got some cool features, okay? Like everybody always showers this praise on NVIDIA, but AMD has some incredible features too. Like the first thing is the Adrenaline software. The Adrenaline software is very good, very stable, very robust. There's plenty of options. It gives you the ability to get in there and like fine tune your games. Even just like one button solutions, you just hit HyperRX and boom, you're right in there, you're playing. It's enabling the features that matter the most. Features like AMD's sharpening 2, you can use that with older games that don't have any kind of upscaling or whatever. Like you get in there with RSR, and I'm telling you guys, like for me as a gamer, upscaling to a 4K image, as long as the game looks good, I don't normally freak out about things like a little bit of shimmering or like stuff like that. Like that's a Digital Foundry problem. I've said that a million times on this channel and I stand by that. Like I said, I've got a 5090. I can run whatever I want, but I still would prefer most of the time to use my AMD experience. I love it more. It's, you know, for the last month or so, I've been on the NVIDIA thing, okay? I've been on a 5090. I've got the new monitor hooked up over here. I've been doing a lot more sim racing stuff. It's just easier to pull my wheel stand out, put it over here, and then just have the NVIDIA. If I want to use the AMD because the build is like way over here on this side, I've got to move things around, and the way I've got everything set up right now, it just makes it really hard. So I admit, like I've been on the 5090, and so for the last 2 days, I've gotten on the 9070 XT. And like seriously, I'm not even joking. Like I could play games on this thing and I don't even think, oh man, I wish I was on the 5090. Like I don't. It's a good experience. It gives you a good quality experience. And the way that like this this XFX GPU, it's smooth, it's stable, it's super freaking quiet. I hear people asking me about all that all the time. Let me just show you. Let me just show you. Like those are my fans. Like those are my fans. Like I can't even hear the GPU. I don't have any coil whine. There's nothing. Like my fans aren't broken, they all spin, they all work just fine, there's no issues, there's no coil whine, there's no overheating, none of that stuff. It runs at like 50, I think it's like in the 50s, like most of the time. Like it runs pretty cool, like it's very efficient. Obviously if you're using 340 watts of power, it does get a little bit warm, but for the most part, having it paired with a 9800X3D, on a B650 motherboard, like it runs good. I've got it paired with, well, I've got the CPU paired with CL30 RAM. This is probably one of the most optimized PCs I've ever had. Like I haven't had any driver issues with this. It's just a good quality experience. I get in there, I play a lot of games. I don't never really have a whole lot of issues with it and stuff. It's just been a good quality build this whole time. And so I do, like I recommend the 9070 XT pretty heavily. But I'm not too proud to say that, like, look, man, there are features on NVIDIA that some people might prefer. But I mean, it's kind of weird, you know, like AMD has got this, like, you're ended up waiting for stuff sometimes, but then when you get it, like you're happy you got it for it, and it's like weird, you know. I've never not one time, like I went into AMD and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna buy it, like whatever, you know. So I buy it and I start playing games, and then they're like, oh yeah, the new features coming out, and I'm just like, it's so cool. I don't know why. Maybe I'm weird, but or maybe I'm just conditioned. Maybe I'm conditioned, but when they do gradual drops of new features and they continue to work on things and they continue to support things and try new things, because AMD is open source. So, you know, they'll like put stuff out there. Like right now you can use like FSR 4 in 8 on your 7000 series and 6000 series GPUs. And it's like the way that AMD supports things and the way that they're kind of, they're always, I feel, I've never even had NVIDIA send me one email. Not one email, not one text, not one interaction, nothing. Completely ignored me, and I've spent significantly more money on NVIDIA products. I bought AMD GPUs for one generation, and XFX was like, they hit me up on X, they're like, hey man, you wanna take a new one of our GPUs for a test run? Because I bought XFX and I was always tagging them and stuff on there. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, man. I'd be honored to do that. I would absolutely love, I mean, I was gonna literally buy that, you know, and they're like, all right, man, I'll send you one. And then, you know, a few months later, the 9060 XT comes out and he's like, hey man, I'll send you one of those too. And I was like, hell yeah, man, hell yeah. And so to this day, I've even bent the knee and bought a 5090 and NVIDIA still hasn't even so much as acknowledged I exist. But there's AMD, man. And I tell you that only because it's like, look, man, I feel like AMD cares. And for them to reach out to me, a smaller creator that just appreciates their products, and be like, hey, man, like we want to see you succeed, you know, the fact that like we want to see, you know, like more people that actually appreciate AMD, covering AMD. That's what I take from it. They've never told me, oh, you can't say this or anything like that. Like they've always just been like, here you go, here's a product, have fun. And I like that. I like that. When the company's like, here, have fun, man. Because that's like them saying, they're like, all right, like I get it, you know, it's like a dual thing. I cover the product, they get the exposure. It's good for both of us. It's good for both of us. I get to enjoy the product and be honest with my community, and they get to have that exposure. And I honestly, that's a fair trade, because I technically, you know, am just any other regular consumer. Like I'm their market. And when they reach out to me being part of the market, somebody that actively still buys this stuff, I think it's a good relationship. Like, I think it's a good relationship. And, you know, for the most part, I love the fact that AMD is like that. I love the fact that they're attentive and they do pay attention to, you know, smaller creators, and they give them that opportunity to really shine. And let's be real, man, like the beginning of this generation with the prices and everything, like that was tough. That was hard. That was like, man, I want to show the GPU off, but like people are legit mad that like prices are way higher than what the MSRP was. And I was almost to the point where I wanted to like email them back and be like, look, man, I'm sorry, but like this sucks, man, because people were expecting like a $600 price, and here we are almost $1,000. And then I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, dude, didn't you just buy a $1,000 5070 Ti? And then I started, and then I had to like really sit back and look at the experience. Is the AMD experience worth as much as what NVIDIA is asking for their GPUs? And that was tough, and I struggled with that, and I was like, absolutely, I am happier with the 9070 XT than I am with the 5070 Ti. But NVIDIA threw a wrench this generation with MFG4X and DLSS4. And I was like, wow, I legitimately like both of them. And it's like, okay, so what do I do? What do I do now in this position? Because now I'm like, okay, I believe in NVIDIA. I think it's an incredible thing. But I love and believe in AMD so much more that it's not that I want AMD to be the savior of gaming or anything like that. It's a corporation. Like, I don't really care. I just want a good product that makes me happy, that I can use. And so when I look at what AMD does, and I look at the product stack, and I look at the performance, and I look at the experience that I get from the products, I do feel like a lot more people would be happier with AMD. I do. I feel like there's a lot of people out there that would literally be happy with half of the thing being on autopilot, to a point where it's like, you don't got to worry about setting 10-bit. Like, you're getting, like, you pop in AMD, and I guarantee, like, if you come from NVIDIA and you just throw the AMD in there, you download the driver and you jump into a game, I guarantee you're going to see a difference. Like, I guarantee it. You're going to jump in there and you're going to be like, whoa, this is good. This looks good. The colors look better. I'm not even joking. Like, you will literally see it. I didn't even, you know, realize that I could do the saturation for a little while, and instantly I felt like, I'm not even joking, the 7900 XT, I bought that, put it in there, and I'm not even joking, like after just a few games, I was on the phone with my PC friend, and I was like, hey, I got a 3080 10 gig, you want to buy it? He's like, yep, send it to me. And the rest is history, man. Like, I moved over to AMD, and I was super satisfied with that. The only reason I started covering NVIDIA again is because I don't want to alienate half the freaking 90% of the PC community. I want to be able to learn and understand why people love NVIDIA the way they do, and I think I do now. It only took me buying a 5090 to get there. Look, man, when it comes to the XFX, 9070 XT, Mercury Magnetic Air, this GPU is incredible. It's well built. It's been running perfectly since I got it. No freaking noise. It looks incredible. Like, this is an incredible GPU. I'll have some links in the description. Obviously, I'm an affiliate with Best Buy. You can get them at Best Buy. Obviously, Amazon. You can find them at Amazon. And so if you guys are interested in this card, if you've been eyeballing this card, right now is the best time to buy a GPU. Get them now. Get it set up. And start enjoying your gaming, man. There's no reason to sit and wait any longer. Obviously, the new boogeyman is the memory and stuff like that. Get it. You're gonna fully enjoy it. It still has 3 8-pins. You don't have to worry about the new 12-pin connector. You can buy this. This GPU is gonna last you a long time, and you got Redstone to look forward to in like 7 days. So yeah. If you like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.